House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries called for a congressional investigation after reports surfaced that a journalist was accidentally included in a Signal chat involving former Trump officials discussing airstrikes in Yemen. Jeffries claimed the incident revealed national security failures and a pattern of unqualified political appointments.
Earlier, just changing topics. Obviously, I'm sure you've heard the story by now. The editor-in-chief of The Atlantic says he was caught on this text chain Signal chat with top Trump administration officials as they were discussing these airstrikes in Yemen. What is your reaction to that? And do you believe there should be a congressional investigation?
It should absolutely be a congressional investigation so that we can understand what happened, why did it happen, and how do we prevent this type of national security breach from ever happening again. This is reckless, irresponsible, and dangerous. Who are some of these people that Donald Trump has put into the most sensitive national security positions in America? We were promised that Donald Trump was going to hire the very best. It's all phony. The attacks on diversity, equity, and inclusion, phony. This is never about hiring the best people. As Democrats, we actually believe in merit. Merit that should be based on what you know, not who you know. And understand, this whole Trump administration is filled with lackeys and incompetent cronies. I'm not talking about any particular individual, though I will note that the Secretary of Defense, who was on that chain, has got to be the most unqualified person ever to lead the Pentagon in American history. Think about that. You've put these people in charge in a very dangerous world, and then you want to attack communities of color, attack women, and attack others who are actually very qualified. C.Q. Brown, incredibly qualified, brilliant, served this country well. All of these attacks from the Trump administration on a diverse America, it's all phony. These people are incredibly unqualified, irresponsible, and they're jeopardizing America's national security.
Hakeem Jeffries on Monday sharply criticized what he described as reckless and irresponsible behavior by officials from the former Trump administration after reports emerged of a potential national security breach. The breach involved top-level conversations over Signal, a private messaging app, about military operations in Yemen that allegedly included the editor-in-chief of The Atlantic by mistake. "We need to understand what happened, why it happened, and how to ensure it never happens again," Jeffries said during a press briefing. "This isn't just sloppy, it's dangerous." Jeffries used the opportunity to double down on his long-standing critique of the administration's personnel choices, calling the Trump team filled with lackeys and incompetent cronies. He questioned the qualifications of multiple appointees, singling out the former Secretary of Defense, stating, "He's got to be the most unqualified person ever to lead the Pentagon in American history." He emphasized that the Democratic approach to leadership values merit-based appointments. "As Democrats, we actually believe in merit," Jeffries said. "That should be based on what you know, not who you know." Jeffries also defended General C.Q. Brown, describing him as incredibly qualified and an example of the kind of public servant who contrasts with what he portrayed as the Trump administration's disregard for competence and diversity. The call for a congressional inquiry has drawn mixed reactions. While some Democratic lawmakers echoed Jeffries' concern, Republican officials and commentators dismissed the accusations as political theater, questioning whether the inclusion of the journalist in the chat was a deliberate act or an inadvertent mistake. "This is another example of partisan posturing," said one Republican staffer, who requested anonymity. "There's no solid evidence that national security was compromised." The incident, now under preliminary review by several congressional committees, has reignited debates over security protocols in digital communication and the vetting of key government personnel. Analysts note that Jeffries' statements reflect broader democratic concerns about the Trump administration's governance style, but also underscore ongoing ideological battles over competence, loyalty, and leadership standards in high-stakes national roles. While the facts continue to unfold, the story reflects deeper tensions in how each party views governance, leadership, and the safeguarding of American interests.